Everybody, it is Box Seats. It's Monday, and my goodness, we have a lot to talk about. I'm not even sure where I wanted to begin because so much stuff jumped off last night. We got to talk about the NBA playoffs. We got to talk about the second week of the NFL season. I'm Frank Holder. That's Fig. That's Talent. And some news broke this morning that I wanted to just, before we even jump into the NFL heavily and the NBA playoffs heavily, I want to say one thing, and this is to you guys, because you guys are New York guys. You know what I mean? This is the thing that if your management of the New York Giants and the players are telling you the field is sticky, and you do nothing about it, and that next game you lose Saquon Barkley for the season, torn ACL. How are you feeling right about now? And what's your thought process? How do you even address the team? Because the players were telling you during the week, this field is sticky. It's not right. It's not right. Talent, if you're management right now, what do you say now to the players? Because you just lost Saquon Barkley for the year.
I think you lost them for more than that. If you pay attention, the big news in New York is he erased all of his pictures wearing the Giants uniforms on his social media. The only thing on his social media he left up was the tribute to Kobe Bryant's passing, but he took down all the Giants things. So I don't know if that's a subliminal message. Everybody's trying to figure that out and read into it. If I'm the Giants management, I got to feel dumb as hell.
Right.
I don't know what kind of apology or what kind of repercussions that I should give myself. Because what do you say? I mean, that reminds me of the kid that keep telling the parent, somebody's bothering me or bullying me or whatever, and you just go to school until something happens. As a parent, you got to feel, because that's what the executive branch of it is. Management is the parent.
Right.
So the management got to feel really messed up right now. I don't know what they can do to make this right. This is going to be a sour feeling the whole season.
Right. Now, with that being said, Fig, I'm not sure. I'm gonna have facts check the facts on this. I think Saquon Barkley is in his contract year. I think so. I'm gonna double check that. But if your management going on what Talent just said, do you think Saquon Barkley is even gonna stay in New York, or you think he's out because he's that upset?
I'm not even sure that he has a choice. You know what I mean? I think he's only been in the league like a couple of years. I think, and
yeah, but
I think your first run is like 4 years, huh?
Yeah, I think his contract year, which means he'd be a free agent beginning of next year.
Yeah, I mean, but you can franchise tag him. You can do all kinds of stuff. That the NFL, the way their contracts are set up, is not like the NBA and stuff like that. You can really hold on to a guy and get and especially a running back and get the best out of them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Get their best years from them before they even have an opportunity to go. You know what I mean? That was the same thing. You think about it, it was the same thing with Zeke. You know what I mean? That's why he held out, because he wanted a different contract, because actually Dallas could have held on to him, as long as they wanted to, and just keep him on that rookie contract. So I don't really think if it was up to Saquon, maybe he would want to leave, but I don't think it's up to him.
Right. I think you could franchise tag a player for 2 years, and after that person's out. So if they franchise tag him, the beginning of next year, so about he would have about 2 more years, and 2 more years.
3.
Then, yeah.
I think he got 3 more. If they franchise tag him, I think they got 1 more on his contract, and then 2 more behind that. Because I think you get 4 to 5 years on a rookie contract.
I think you're right. I'm gonna double check that with Stack. I'm gonna get back to you on that one. Anyway, we got to talk now about the NBA playoffs. We're gonna jump and finish talking about the NFL shortly, because the NFL had an amazing season too. Week 2. I had several talks over the weekend with a lot of players about the Lakers, and the Lakers. There was a lot of people about the Lakers. The Lakers showed out, last night. They showed their grit. They showed their determination. They ended up pulling a game-winning shot against Denver in the playoffs. The funny thing is, Fig, I'm gonna start with you, because you and I had conversations about LeBron and MVP and everything else. After you looked at the game yesterday, do you think, in your honest opinion, LeBron not getting the MVP has galvanized the entire Lakers team, or at least not getting as many votes? Because LeBron only got 16 votes out of 101 votes. Do you think that galvanized the Lakers to say, we're gonna do this for LeBron? What do you think?
Man, listen, I I'll just say this. I've heard coaches say this before. But at this stage of the game, you're in the Western Conference Finals.
Mhm.
If you need something to motivate you to go out there and play, you shouldn't be on the court. You should be already motivated to win because you've gotten this far and you're 2 series away from an NBA championship. So if you need extra motivation right now, you don't even need to be on. I don't want you on my team. If you need something like that to motivate you, and tell you something else, LeBron James did not deserve the MVP for the regular. See, it's regular season, and then there's the postseason. It's 2 seasons in the NBA. LeBron, his team didn't have the better record. LeBron James didn't have better stats than Giannis. LeBron James don't even have better stats than Anthony Davis. Why would he deserve to be the MVP? It doesn't make sense. Giannis is the clear vote. That's why he got the majority of the votes for the NBA MVP, for the regular season MVP, plus his defensive player of the year. Have anybody ever accused LeBron James of playing defense to the point where he's defensive player of the year? Has anybody ever accused him that? Because if they are, he needs to hire an attorney for slander.
Talent, what you think?
That's funny, first of all. I think we are witnessing the slow transition and changing of the guards. The NBA always has this big player or two who becomes the face of the league for a decade at least, right? I think this is the beginning of the change of the guards. And I think that it's earth-shattering to his mind and ego because it was so abrupt. Like you said, even in his own words, he said, I'm not mad that I didn't get it and Giannis got it. I'm mad that I got 16 votes. So when you read your own press clippings, it comes that time where the new thing is happening and now you slowly becoming the old thing and it's like in your face, you ain't ready for it. I think we're witnessing the transformation and changing of the guard, whoever that may be, because that's a blatant disrespect.
Okay, let me ask you this, Talent. I'm gonna start. Hold on, Fig. I'm gonna ask you this, Talent. Actually, I'm gonna ask both of you this exact same question because when he got 16 votes, and those are the only 2 people got votes, something clicked in my head. I was like, I can't wait to ask you 2 this question because we've had this conversation before. Talent, what does MVP mean to you? You said it to me before, and I've got a rebuttal for you, and I can't wait for you to say the same thing because I got something I want to say to you. Go ahead. What does MVP of the regular season mean to you?
You're the most valuable player. So the most valuable player, they go to their team. They go say, who has the most valuable player? Who's the most valuable player? It's very simple. So that means you look at that team, you look at that player, who is more valuable to their team than Giannis is?
Okay, so wait, before I even say what I'm going to say, Fig.
Well, to me, it's like who is the person that is the gasoline to their team? Like, what person makes their team go on a consistent basis? Okay. And to me, it's clearly Giannis because he doesn't have the assistance as some of the other teams, and he certainly doesn't have the same assistance that LeBron James has in Anthony Davis.
I knew both of you all were going to say that, right? I knew both of you were going to say that. So with that being said, out of 101 votes, 101 people, not one person picked Devin Booker of Phoenix. Not one person. Now, we both know, hold on, with the exact same thing you both just said, we both know it's the most valuable person to your team. Phoenix wouldn't have won half the games they won. Matter of fact, they probably wouldn't have won. They probably won 5 or 6 games over a whole season without him. They may have maybe 5 or 6 wins, 10 wins. Devin Booker was the most valuable to me. He was one of the most valuable players to their team going throughout the entire season, especially using the same thing you said. So how does, and I'm gonna start. I'm about
to tell you. This is what you're missing. This is what you're missing, Frank.
Okay, explain it to me.
Now, when you talk about a Devin Booker, you're talking about what you think. One thing you don't know for a fact, because the other pieces on that team, you don't know how many wins they would have without him. You know they wouldn't be as good, right? But the one thing we know for a fact, you know how we know for a fact? Because we know a Milwaukee Bucks team without a Giannis. We've seen it. And without a Giannis, we know for a fact they would not have the #1 record in the league.
So you're basing on what you're saying by the MVP by wins and losses. So that's what you're saying.
No, I'm basing it on what Fig just said when he said gasoline. Who's the fuel, right? So hold up. If we talk fuel, you ever go to a gas station? It's 3 or 4 levels of fuel you could get. The good cars get the high octane super, usually 93 to 95. The hoopties go for the low octane, 87, 88. I'm saying Giannis on the Bucks is your high octane. Devin over there is not your super. Is he super for that team? Yeah. Is he #1? Did they make the most wins? Did they beat the most teams? Did they stand out? No. I mean, they did good for Phoenix, but it's not the same as the Bucks.
You're wrong. Devin Booker has the best overall game. He's not the most dominant player, but he could shoot, he could pass, he could dribble, and he is the point guard, and he controls that team. Well, again, he didn't get, and I'm not saying that it should be there. I'm just saying all the MVP voters who voted, right, using the same analogy that you just said, using the same description you said, how come he doesn't get 1 vote? Fig, 1 vote.
Let me just say, first off, before I answer that directly, let me just say this. I want to know who the 16 voters were that voted for LeBron James, because I want them fired forthwith without hesitation. They should be fired immediately without hesitation. I want them fired because they're not doing their job correctly. Now, to answer your question directly, how are you valuable on a team if your team is not winning? Because at the end of the day,
wait a minute. So you're
wait. Let me say this.
Wins and losses mean something in the MVP voting?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to ask you this: has there ever been an MVP of a team in the NBA and the team didn't win? Because how are you valuable to your team and your team is losing? That doesn't make sense to me. You play the game to win.
I agree.
Who is the person on your team that makes your team go and play at the highest level? Highest level meaning you win most of your games. If you're not winning, how are you valuable?
Okay,
you may be the best player on your team, but you can't be the most valuable player in the league, and your team is not winning.
Okay, hold on. Let me throw this out to you before we jump into the NFL, because almost that time we got to jump to the NFL. All right. With that being said, I'm gonna leave this 2 question to both of you. When Michael Jordan was playing in the league from his rookie year on, he didn't start getting the MVP until they were winning. But we both know, everybody here knows. Hold on, everybody here knows that the MVP should have been him a couple of seasons on. So now the league voters are voting that you got to win and you got to be the most dominant player and everything else. When I'm saying, basically, I kind of disagree with the MVP voting. I would rather have the MVP voting being as it used to be in the 60s and 70s when you were the most dominant player in the league. That's what I wanted it to be.
Well, here's the thing. You mad at the wrong people. You coming in here on today's Monday, right? On the first day of the week, mad at me and Fig. I agree with Fig. Be mad at those 16 people that wasted Devin's votes. You say he didn't get 1 vote. Them 16 people are liable, not us.
You know
what?
Man,
listen, Frank, let me ask you this.
I want to say something about that, because my time is going. Go ahead.
All right, but just very quickly, at the end of the day, you play the game to win. I mean, stats are beautiful. Stats are absolutely wonderful. Your assists, your rebounds, your win share, all of that is absolutely wonderful. But if you're losing, they're what we call empty calories. You can stack up a whole lot of calories, but they're not giving you any fuel. Fuel means winning. You must win.
That's not what the MVP was started out and established for. It was started out and established back in the 60s when it was the most valuable player. At that time, most valuable and dominant player. and it was given to people who were losing, because if that was the case, they could have gave it to Bill Russell at the time for 16 years straight. So they changed it in the 60s. Then in the 70s, it started going back to, who was the most dominant player. Then in the 80s, Larry Bird should have got it for the first couple of years because he was the most valuable player. But guess what? They didn't do that because they were switching it up. Now let's go back to you see, y'all making me trying to get past my time. I'm not trying not to do that. I'm just trying to say this. I'm going to just leave it at this, and I want to jump into NFL. I want it to be clear cut because Rachel Nichols said something on ESPN the other day, which made it a whole lot of sense. I think, in my opinion, let the players vote from the beginning of the season to the end of the playoffs. Let the players vote along with the news journal. First of all, don't even let the news journals vote at all, because I think they get it wrong. But I don't know.
No, listen. Players in today's NBA, these players have friends and they have allegiance to certain other players, and I don't think it'll be fair because a lot of them are in business with each other off the court and stuff like that, in different ventures and management and they have the guys that they're agents and stuff like that. So I'd rather have somebody who doesn't have any skin in the game. And at the end of the day, to me, I don't know how they did it before, but at the end of the day, you cannot be the most valuable player of the NBA of the season if your team is not winning. I'm never going to vote for a loser. If you're not winning, because that's the only reason you play the game. You lace them up so that you can win. If you're not winning, then as far as I'm concerned, you're disqualified.
So it's not about the most dominant player in the league for you. It's just a matter about how good you are on your stats wise on your team when your team's winning.
And your team has to win. Yes.
Okay. I don't agree with that because I just look at Michael Jordan. I just look at when Michael Jordan came in the league, especially his second year, right after he broke his foot, that boy was balling. There wasn't a better person on any team in the league better than Michael Jordan. And he never even got that's why I'm thinking on it. And I've been thinking about it all week and saying there needs to be some kind of adjustments to not only just because you're on a team that's winning and you're the best player on that team. There needs to be some sort of adjustments to who's the most dominant player in the league.
But let me ask you a question, Frank. How could you go wrong if you pick the best player on the winningest team?
You can't.
How could you go wrong? I mean, that's a clear-cut formula that cannot be. You can't even argue it. Say this is the best team. This is the best player on the tean. He gets the votes. Like that's clear-cut and simple.
I know. I don't like it. I'm just saying I don't like it. Why not give it to
you don't like it. Okay.
Why just give it to the most dominant player? Why not give it to the person who changed? Why not give it to a person like a Devin Booker who came in and you could see has changed the entire face of that franchise and moving forward? And you sit there saying they might not be winning, but damn, since he came in, look what like that kid on the New York Knicks. And I hate to bring in New York again, but that kid in the New York Knicks, he came in last year. He came in. Last year he is a franchise player. He's dominant, but
definitely. But listen, nobody even sees Devin Booker until we got to the bubble. Nobody even saw him because their team was losing. They didn't even make TV. Nobody even. You got to catch him on the internet. Nobody even see.
He did
because they losing.
Let's just talk about the NFL because now time is moving forward. It's already 20 past. I got to talk about the NFL, and a couple of things jumped out to me. Before I even jump into the conversation, let me ask you guys this. After the second week in the NFL, who's your MVP? So far, 2 weeks in town, who's your MVP?
It's a tough one. I think I'm going to go with your boy, the quarterback for the Ravens.
Okay. All right. And who you think is MVP?
To me, after that game I saw last night, I could give it to Russell, man.
Yeah, okay.
Russell, they had some wars. They went to war. And Russell was he was the dude who pulled that one out.
Right. I'll say this. I think right now the same sports writers who vote for the MVP of the NBA are the same sports writers who vote right now. I think when ESPN has this narrative right now, I think the narrative right now is for them to give it to Russell Wilson. But I'll say this on the record that I think everybody's overlooking Kyler Murray of the Arizona Cardinals. That boy was shaking and baking and didn't even get touched when he was playing. And according to what they were saying, he didn't even get touched on 15 runs that he was running into the, running around in the game. And he scored, I don't know how many touchdowns. He didn't even get touched. You know what I mean? So I think everybody's overlooking him. But
Frank, that's because nobody can find him.
let me ask you guys
this
this.
big.
Let me ask you guys this. Here's the big question. And again, people aren't talking about. I hate to bring up in New York again, but when is the management of the New York Jets going to fire Adam Gase after the embarrassment that happened with the 49ers yesterday? Talent.
Again, Frank, if their mindset is like mine, nothing's going to happen at least until after 4 weeks. I keep saying this over and over again, and some of the commentators were bullhorning in this same notion yesterday watching the games. We're watching professional preseason for 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. Like, you got to realize, if the injuries don't tell you that and show you that, because you skipped preseason because of COVID and went right into a season, this is preseason. So let's say this guy wins 2 games. Now he's 2-2. And now the season's just beginning for him. So he's safe, I think, up until 4 weeks.
4 weeks safe. Okay. Fig, you agree or disagree?
Listen, people was calling for Adam Gase' job before the season started. So I don't know. It was like, he's horrible, man. He was calling for his job before they started playing. I mean, look, they're not. They lost 2 games, but here's the thing: the Jets are not as bad as their record shows. I mean, even though it's only been 2 games, they're not as bad. They got a young quarterback. They got a young team. You know what I mean? And it takes it. Huh?
Did you see the Jets game? The Jets they gave up a breakaway running back.
Man, but they played a team that went to the Super. Listen, the Jets are a young team, and they played a team that was in the Super Bowl just last season. It was just in the Super Bowl. I mean, so what did you expect? You expect them just because the date on the calendar changed, that they was going to get older, they was going to be more
I expected them to tackle the running back on the first play. That's what I expected. Tackle the running back. Don't let them give a breakaway touchdown when they're way up the end.
Hey, the Jets have never been accused of having a good defense since Gastineau Klecko. That was the last time the Jets had a defense.
Watch your mouth, Big Blue. Watch your mouth, Big Blue.
Hey, man, listen. I'm not mad at the Jets. If the Jets win, I'm gonna be at the parade too. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not mad at the Jets like that.
Okay, all right.
It's the last time they had a decent defense.
At town, let me ask you. After the Kansas City game, right? Kansas City Chiefs came out, right? And I'm gonna be honest with you. I watched that game from the beginning to the end. I will say Kansas City and Kansas City put up one of the worst performances I've seen ever since Patrick Mahomes came in the game. Now, Justin Herbert was QB. He outplayed them, except for maybe 2 or 3 plays. He outplayed, Patrick Mahomes. Now, here's the thing. Coach Anthony Lynn came out this morning and said that he is going to give the ball back to Tyrod Taylor to be QB. Is that a mistake or what?
What?
Yeah, Talent, what you think?
I don't know. I don't think it's a mistake.
Wow.
I think this is good. This could be something here. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that decision. I always believe that you got to try different things, whether it's popular in public opinion or not. I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing. So I don't think I'm not gung-ho, but I'm not mad at the same time. So I think this is one of those let's see what happens things.
Okay. All right, Fig. I'll say this before I pass the baton to you. Tyrod Taylor is not as accurate as Justin Herbert. He looked like, to me, the second coming of John Elway. That boy was throwing darts all across the field and everything else. But Fig, do you agree with Talent, and do you agree with Coach Anthony Lynn to give the ball back to Tyrod Taylor, or do you think Justin Herbert should be the QB from now on?
I'm gonna say this: that young boy balled out yesterday. He was 1, maybe 2 bad plays away from winning that whole thing yesterday. He made some rookie mistakes. He made a couple of rookie mistakes that prevented them from beating Kansas City yesterday, man. That young boy, I was looking at him and I was like, this is a rookie. Put it to you this way. If that young boy is the quarterback of the Chargers next week when they go up against another team and I had to put money on it, I'm betting on the Chargers. You understand what I'm saying? Because that kid balled out. I put my money on that kid.
Yeah, but the coach is not going to have him. Tyrod Taylor, if he's feeling well, Tyrod Taylor is going to be the QB. Now, I'll say this before I ask the next question. I think they lost the game by punting to Kansas City in overtime when they should have went for it. They shouldn't, instead of, because you don't want to give the ball to Kansas City's offense. And
I agree.
The Kansas City could not stop their run. Bad decision on the coach. He gave that game away.
Hey, listen, I just say like this. How do you give the ball in overtime to arguably one of the most potent offenses
of all time
in the NFL with a Patrick Mahomes like that? That doesn't even make sense. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
And you were playing well.
Yeah, Town. Let me ask you this: the Patriots played Seattle Seahawks last night. Now, everybody was talking about how great last week, how great Cam Newton played, and how great everything else. Russell Wilson balled out last night. What is your first thoughts after you saw the game last night between Patriots and Seattle? What was your thoughts of looking at Cam Newton last night?
I'm not mad at Cam Newton. I think we're going to see some great things this year. I think you got to realize Cam had a couple of his old players on the other team that's now on Seattle that used to play with him, forming back on his team on the old Panthers. So I think with football, people come out there and that's a distraction to me. Like if you have a great relationship with, say, like a receiver or a lineman, and they're on the other team, God forbid their job is to get at the quarterback, and they're hugging, and it's this reunion, and I think you take that lightly. You know what I mean? Like it's not that warrior syndrome right away. So I think that there was a lot of lax there, and then you're going against another premier quarterback. These guys are both top 10 quarterbacks in the league right now.
Yeah.
So I think that they got kind of, sometimes, like I said, read your own press clippings. You're caught up in the hype. I say Cam is going to have a hell of a season just by judging by when I put both weeks together. Don't sleep.
Right. Fig, what you think?
I love the way Cam played yesterday, and I think I didn't like that call at the end of the game. I didn't like the way I didn't like him run into that side. That side looked crowded to me. I would have liked to see Cam drop back, gather some space, and then take off. They were right there.
That's what I thought.
I believe it. If he would have ran to the right as opposed to the left, I think he scores.
I'll say this: they did a play when they scored a touchdown when Cam faked like he was going to run and threw it to the fullback, and the fullback wasn't even touched. They should have did that some play similar to that because everybody in Seattle knew that Cam was running the ball. So I thought
that was the problem, and that's bad coaching. You don't call. You have to get when you have a running quarterback and you get in that situation. Everybody and their mother in the stadium for miles away know that this is most likely to play. So you have to have some fake options. If you're not, give yourself an option to throw a little dump or whatever. It's totally the opposite of what happened in that Super Bowl with Seattle.
Yeah.
How ironic was it that it was against Seattle?
Right, exactly. The funny thing is too is that it was one of the worst play calls of the entire game from the Patriots side of one of the worst play calls, and at the most inopportune time. But obviously this morning I've been listening to sports talk and everything else, and especially in Boston radio. Right now they're all fuzzy about Cam. Everybody's loving Cam, the performance and everything else, but he's still not getting what he should get. I think personally, being a Patriots fan, I will say this: I love the fact that Cam Newton's doing what he's doing, but I think Cam put the NFL on notice this year. I think he let a lot of people know he's back. He was throwing darts. His arm was there. His arm was there.
He was a little off.
That's it.
The ball to Edelman.
Yeah,
it was a little high. It was a little high.
If Edelman had caught him, that was game.
Every pass is going to be a little high.
Yeah, you do. All right, let's talk about Baltimore over Houston last night, because Baltimore looked extremely dominant over Houston last night.
Woo!
Now, there are rumblings coming out of Houston that they still upset because Houston had a problem throwing the ball to their wide receivers. There are still rumblings and people upset that Andre Hopkins isn't obviously a part of that team right now. But Baltimore is extremely dominant over there. Should we expect Baltimore to continue to be dominant like this talent and moving forward, or are they selling a bag of bad goods? What you think?
No. Baltimore's the real deal right now. I think that barring injuries, that's your team going to the wire. You know what I mean? They're going to be in that conversation all the way to the end. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The only thing is when these teams that are balling out and playing hard, I was telling Fig yesterday, I said, it feels like preseason because when you look at the score at halftime and you look at the score at the end of regulation, you're throwing up 30, but then you take a break, go get some Gatorade, come back, and you give up 30.
Right.
This can't keep going. It can't, like, the league cannot keep doing this. Like, that's how you know we're watching preseason. Like, you be like, oh, man, I picked it, man. Kansas City, 25-zip. Wait a minute. You look back, fourth quarter, 29s each, tied, overtime. What the hell? Preseason, all day. You know what I mean? Right. But Baltimore's the real deal.
Right. And, of course, another team played last night that made me look at the score. I couldn't believe the score when I ended up seeing it. It was the Tampa Bay was playing, and Tampa Bay came over Carolina. And when I first looked, it was like Tampa Bay was smoking them. And then I saw, oh, Carolina's coming back. And then I turned to the game. I saw Tom Brady give the ball to Leonard Fournette, and boy, it looked scary the way Fournette was playing last night. Trig, question for you is, should we start to really seriously consider that Tampa Bay is one of the top 3 or 4 best teams in the league right now?
No, I think it's still too early. I mean, last week they lost, this week they win, so they 50-50 right now. I got to see a little more consistency because that's still a brand new team. You know, Tom Brady is still just getting I mean, you know, he had a little workout with his receivers, but he's still just getting to know the team, just getting, you know, to know how they play. See, getting to play when it's just you and the guy throwing the ball around the field and playing with the defense, you never know what a guy's going to do when the pressure's on. And that's how what Talon is saying. It's still almost like preseason because you don't know what a guy's going to do when the pressure's on. It's like last week when Tom Brady expected the guy to keep going and he pulled up short. Right. That kind of stuff don't happen when you have chemistry.
It's funny you said pressure because yesterday during the Pittsburgh-Denver game, pressure was on because there was this young quarterback came in named Jeff Driscoll. He came in for Drew Luck. And Jeff Driscoll, except for 2 mistakes, they could have beat Pittsburgh. But you're not hearing it. Unless you saw the game, obviously you're not hearing that by any of the press. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, Pittsburgh did good and Roethlisberger did this and he did that and he did the greatest thing. But I will tell you this. Jeff Driscoll came in and played an amazing game. So, Talent. Should we expect some more great things from Jeff Driscoll, or was that just a one-game one-off?
I think, you know, I'm one of those guys, you got to make me a believer. So I got to see at least a couple more appearances like that, a couple of games where you do that to show that it is some consistency there. I don't jump out the gate because I might have one good game. You know what I mean? I'm not the Harold Miner finder of the league. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're not baby Jordan yet, sir. And then 2, 3 more.
All right, let me ask you now about the other game, you know, the last game before we jump into Rodney Perry. The Dallas Cowboys came back from the most phenomenal win that I've ever seen. Fig, did you believe, because I don't know if you were watching the game and paying attention, did you believe the Dallas Cowboys actually pulled that game out with one of the most ridiculous onside kick recovery I've ever seen in the entire years I've ever watched NFL? Can you believe that, Fig? And honestly, I'll throw this little caveat in there. If I was the owner of the Atlanta Falcons, I probably would have walked in there and fired the whole staff. But Fig, what you think?
Listen, the fact that your team knows that an onside kick is coming, because there's the only thing the Cowboys can do is an onside kick, and the team doesn't know that they can touch the ball before it goes 10 yards.
Right.
The fact that they didn't know that means that somebody got to get fired. Some heads got to roll. I got to fight. Those guys were standing around looking at the ball like it was a hand grenade. I was like, what are these guys doing? I'm like, jump on the ball. It's right there, spinning right in front of you. What are you waiting for? The kicking team is the only one that got to wait for the ball to go 10 yards before you can jump on it, not the receiving team. What were they waiting for?
And there were 4 players standing.
They were standing around it, just like looking at it. Was it a hot potato? Did you set the ball on fire?
I can't believe I saw what I saw. But with that being said, it's now time for me to bring in Mr. Rodney Perry for our segment we like to call I Disagree. Rodney Perry, how you doing, brother?
First of all, I disagree with everything y'all said today. Every single thing. Frank, you usually be a voice of reason, but you all fought on the deep end today. Let me go through my list. Whew. Just so many things. First of all, Frank, who the hell is Devin Booker? Who is it? Who is he? I don't even know who he is. How come he ain't get no votes? Nobody know. But they was like looking at the ballot like Devin Booker, how he get on the ballot? Nobody give a damn about no Devin Booker. All right. LeBron said this, and I agree with this. The MVP has changed throughout his career. MVP at one point it was all stat driven. At some point, it's your value to your team. The bar keeps changing. So y'all are all right as long as the bar stays static. But the bar doesn't stay static. Sometimes the MVP is a consolation prize. They go, you ain't gonna make it into the finals. We're gonna throw you the MVP. You know, you had a good season. Your ass ain't never gonna win nothing, but so here. They do that to the MVP. They do that all the time in NBA. So Giannis had a great season, but what we're not thinking about, it's an abbreviated season. Mm-hmm. LeBron was on his ass. So LeBron is saying, look, I was on his ass. How I get 16 votes, dog? How I get 16 votes? I got 16 votes. I'm on his ass, and I can't. We didn't even finish the season, and he out. When y'all vote? When y'all vote? March? Pandemic?
I agree with that. Go ahead.
All right. My illustrious friend and man with probably the most awesome hair in sports talk. Fig say you have to be the gasoline. You have to be the gasoline. Well, guess what this gas can say? LeBron James. LeBron James is the gasoline of the whole league. LeBron James make people better, Fig. That's gasoline. I set this house on fire just to make a point, Fig. The gasoline, Giannis is the gasoline to a losing team. Are you serious? He don't make nobody better. Ain't nobody better because they know Giannis. You know what? He got a best friend that's homeless. Giannis don't make nobody better. Gasoline. Y'all kill me. Y'all talk about Herbert. He a rookie, and should he be starting? But then we get over here to this other dude. What's his name? Driscoll, and everybody want him to sit his ass down somewhere. That don't mean you can't have it both ways. You can't be excited about Herbert and not excited about Driscoll. It doesn't work like that. First of all, I like Lil Herbert, but he is still a rookie.
Lil Herbert.
He is Lil Herbert. His face look like he's 12. He's Lil Herbert. Lil Herbert got in the game. Let me tell you something about the NFL. When we ain't got no tape on your ass, you can do good.
Yeah.
But once we get some tape on your ass, we gonna put hands and feet all up in your rectum.
Yes.
All right. Coach Frank, Coach Fig, this is for y'all. I know when y'all giving y'all analysis as coaches, you know, what play should have been called and things of that nature. It's just really easy to do that on Monday. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Monday, y'all are the geniuses. Y'all both should be head coaches on Monday. On Monday, ain't nobody better than y'all two on Monday. Coach Fig is not, he never lose. On Monday. Not come Tuesday, y'all will even be better. They'll be better tomorrow.
Oh, God.
Y'all talked about Baltimore and Houston. Let me tell you something. Baltimore is a good team. Houston used to be good.
Right.
You get rid of Hopkins, your ass supposed to lose. The only reason we even talking about Kyler Murray is Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody give a shit about Kyler Murray 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Now he can run around because Hopkins is a threat.
Yeah. Right.
If you take your eyes off him, he going to the house. So it's like, come on, dude. Like who? Like I want to know what Hopkins did. Like who wife did he smash? No, he did something unforgivable. He did something, you know, Hopkins. Boy, don't get me started. All right. You asked who was the 2-week MVP? Y'all was all over the place. The MVP is Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, he took the first half off and still won the game. He didn't even play. He looked so bored out there. Dude, they got pictures of Mahomes playing Tetris on the sideline. My second MVP out of Buffalo, and I hate Buffalo, but Josh Allen,
yeah, you balling. Yeah, you balling.
I hate Buffalo too, Rodney.
But Josh Allen is balling, Fig. You can yes, y'all and Snoop Doggy Dogg, and the boys balling.
Yeah, he balling.
Let me go. My last. I'm coming down to the end, y'all. Denver. Oh, I got some rumblings from the future. First of all, we seen Dak Prescott pull out an amazing victory.
Yeah.
And I was getting some tingly about Dak. First of all, only the Atlanta Falcons can score 39 points and lose. Only. And yeah, they capable of that. Matt Ryan. And I don't know what happened to Todd Curley. He in my fantasy. I'm about to go to his house and remove him from my fantasy. He ain't shit. All right. So let's see. Dak Prescott. Looks like in the future, Dak is look at here. I'm so happy for him. Dak gonna get his money. And he's going to invest in a chain of comedy clubs. He's going to invest in a chain of comedy club that all the waitresses are going to have big booties. They're going to call it Gluta's Comedy Club. or Glutes and Jokes, something like that. And also...
Oh God!
Baltimore is gonna have some controversy over the next 18 months. Mark my words. Looks like it's a scandal with Baltimore. Turns out they've been putting Old Bay and crab juice on the ball, and so. That's what's been happening. So we won't y'all won't find out about it for a few months, but yeah, that's in the future. Hey, great job today, guys. I'm gonna get up out of here. I feel like I'm leaving something out. I covered that. Fig need to shed his pie hole. I think I covered that. Denver Chargers. You know what y'all kill me with? Y'all always talking about somebody that almost won. Oh, Denver, look at them. They almost won. Chargers, they almost won. Your ass lost. Your ass lost. Y'all didn't even say nothing about AD dropping that 3 to win the game. What? AD 7-2.
Yep.
Dropping a 3 with the outstretched arms of Djokovic in his face.
All net.
Net. And guess what? The play was called for LeBron. The play was called for LeBron. I say we just saw a changing of the guard. You said it, Talent. It's a changing of the guard. But guess what? The guard is on your team.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't nobody. It ain't Giannis. Giannis gonna be looking for a new city. It ain't Westbrook. It ain't Harden. God ain't changing to them. And all these little rinky-dink teams. Miami, Boston, got doggone all these teams that think they doing. Don't sleep. Golden State coming back next year.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Golden State come back. Let's not forget next year you're gonna have to look at Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all better do y'all best now. Denver, wherever y'all at, you better try to learn from these games, so your ass is going back in the hood.
Your ass going back.
You're going back where your ass belongs. You ain't even got no business.
Oh God, Rodney,
I'm Rodney Perry, man.
Rodney, thank you for joining the show, man. We appreciate you.
What you got, Fig?
I just want to know, did you see the look on LeBron's face when AD hit that shot? He ain't look happy.
He had a little split second of, who told you to shoot that? For a split second, he was like, oh, you lucky that shit went in. He had to, you lucky that shit went in, look.
Rodney, thank you for joining the show, bro.
Hey, man, appreciate y'all. Box seats in the building.
There you go.
Rodney Perry live on all platforms. Holla at your boy.
Yo, he right. He right, though.
All right,
he
y'all.
right.
That was our time with Rodney Perry. With I Disagree. Now it's time to check all the facts with Stack to see what we got right, see what we got wrong. You know,
What's
Stack,
up, fellas?
Stack, thank you, man. I know we got something wrong because today we was kind of all over the place. It's Monday.
The only thing y'all got wrong today was not talking about that AD shot. Like that should have been that. I mean, y'all was over analyzing a lot of meaningless games, NFL games that I felt was pretty meaningless. I mean, other than that Falcons comeback, the Patriots game, you know, you had a few good football games, but that game last night with AD, that was it.
Hey, Stacks, that's because they want a reason to believe that Denver is this team. They don't understand that was then, this is now.
Yeah.
Actually, we talked about the game probably before you came in. We talked about that game.
That had to be it. And the MVP talk too. I feel you. I'm not riding with you on the Devin Booker thing because
he didn't get one vote, Stack. One vote out of 100.
But this is my thing. You gotta be a winning team. That's my only thing. And I like Devin Booker. I love Devin Booker. It's really no drop off between him and Steph Curry, if we be completely honest.
Okay, but hold on. The thing, my whole argument is I'm not sure I was clear on this. My whole argument is make the point of what the MVP going to be consistent. That's all I'm saying.
It'll never be that way. It'll never be that way. It's always going to be across stats and popularity. Always going to be between the two.
That's my point. Are we doing with the winning guy? Are we doing it with the guy who's the most dominant? Are we doing with the guy who's winning and most dominant?
Yeah. Giannis got a consolation prize this year for sure. I think LeBron deserved MVP, and I think AD deserved Defensive Player of the Year. Period.
No.
Giannis had the most winningest team in the league, but Giannis, he
doesn't
make anybody better than LeBron and AD.
Let me make one point. Let me make one point against that, Stacks. The reason why LeBron can't get MVP because remember, just last season on the same team, the man didn't make the playoffs. So this year, the only reason you got this far is because you added another superstar and some role players. But that makes you not that guy.
Wow.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna leave it that. I'm gonna leave that fact with that. Now let me talk about the Celtics game and the Celtics and Miami series. Yeah, because here's the issue with Celtics and Miami. Before we got on the air, we got on the air Friday. The Celtics were down 2-0. We heard we were talking about the fighting behind the scenes. We were talking about a couple of things. We weren't sure. Actually, we didn't even know Gordon Hayward was going to play at that time because word wasn't coming out. Gordon Hayward comes in the game, right? Changes the entire look of the Celtics now. I mean, the Celtics look like a completely different team. Fig, I'm gonna start with you. We got 3 minutes left, so I'm gonna try to give it equal time to everybody. Fig, I'm gonna start with you. Do you think Gordon Hayward changed the entire way the flow of the series is going to be, or should we expect Miami still going to pull it out? What you think?
No. I actually believe, honest truth. I mean, Gordon Hayward did play a significant role. But I thought the Celtics was going to do better I thought they would win the game whether he came back or not. Okay. Because I didn't think the infighting was I don't like you type thing. I think it was more like we need to do better and we should be doing better. You know what I mean? I think it was that kind of fighting. It's just like, yo, we need to step our game up type of thing. So I believe that either way the Celtics was going to win that game. The fact that Gordon Hayward came in and balled out and played very well, I think that helped. You know what I mean? Took some of the pressure off the other players, but I believe they was going to win anyway. And going forward, I got the Celtics to win the game game 4 also.
Okay,
To even up the
Talent.
series.
Talent, what you think?
Yeah, I agree with Fig. I don't think he was the difference maker, whether he came back or not. I had Boston getting it together after that fight anyway. I'm like him. It wasn't a fight where the people didn't like each other. It was a fight that was supposed to happen. It was like, yo, we better than this. We down 2-0. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. We need to do this. It was one of those things. But sometimes when you're talking about those things, the passion is what gets everybody riled up.
Right.
And you know how people are. When you add passion to any argument, you're this close to a fight.
Yeah,
you add passion to any argument, you're this close to now fighting. That's why they had to be separated. I see Boston. Now, here's the thing. Just the same way we asked the question, does the fight work for the better or the worse? Now we got to ask that with this delay for the next game. So after the next game, the delay is so long, it's 4 or 5 days. When you look at all days, it's like, is that going to help or hurt?
Actually, it's going to help for Gordon Hayward anyway, because Gordon Hayward needed all that time in between. He's going to rehab his leg and everything else and all that. But before I don't want to jump on Stack's time. Stack, what you think?
Well, all I'm going to say is the Celtics in the playoffs are undefeated when Gordon Hayward plays. I feel like Gordon Hayward, he's our glue guy because he's not our point guard, but he can do all the point guard duties. He's not our center, but he led us in rebounding and field goal percentage all year. I mean, this guy is like an all-star glue guy. Kemba's even looser out there when he knows he doesn't have to worry about handling the ball and setting up the offense. Now Kemba can just operate without the ball, hit down open shots. It changes the whole game plan when you're playing the Celtics with Gordon Hayward on the floor.
Okay. With that being said, does it change the dynamic of – I'm starting with Fig. Fig, does it change the dynamic of the series? Time short. Keep your answer short. Does it change the dynamic of the series? Is Miami going to still pull it out, Fig? Yes, no, possibly? What you think?
No, I picked the Celtics from the beginning. I was surprised that they lost the first 2 games. I'm looking to Celtics to even this up and make a series. It may go 7, but I still got the Celtics winning.
Okay, Talent, what you think?
Yeah, I still got the Celtics winning too. I think that they're going to turn around because here's the thing. It's like we say when we play basketball. Once the score's tied up, we're starting 0-0 again. So I think once they get that second win, the rest of that series is going to look totally different.
Right,
they just need that next win to tie it up, start with an even playing field, and I think we're going to see a whole different Boston team after that.
Stack, what you think?
I got Celtics pulling it through and winning the championship after that.
Okay. Now, last question. I like what you said there, by the way. Last question. Raiders are playing the Saints tonight. Should we expect an upset from the Raiders, or are the Saints pulling it out? Talent, who you got?
I think the Saints are going to obliterate these guys. Okay. I think, you know how you said Cam Newton put the league on notice? I think, but inadvertently, he ain't got no choice to, but I think Drew Brees did the same thing. I think after his blunder with the whole Black Lives Matter thing and the whole George Floyd, I think that he's got to do that. I think that's the only way he makes good all his black friends in the league.
Good point. What you think?
Man, I don't know, man. I the Raiders moving to Las Vegas and hanging out in the casinos, the strip clubs, and going to see shows and stuff like that. I don't have them winning. I'm sorry. I just don't see them doing anything. Even if they got, the coach and all that stuff. Like I don't see them doing anything because the Raiders are who they are. They are who we thought they were.
Fig is a strip club hater. Fig's a strip club hater. Every time he goes against them, I would vote for Biden, but he go to strip clubs.
Who you got?
I got the Aints winning it tonight.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even think it's going to be close. I think the Saints.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, obliteration.
Yeah, I think the Saints got them by at least 14. I almost want to say 21, but
and then the Patriots going to double down on it next weekend when we got the Raiders next.
Yeah, so. They're going to definitely do that. Everybody, it's time for us to roll up out of here. Talent, everybody to follow you.
Hey, you can follow your boy Talent on all forms and social media. So if you're on Twitter, it's just comedy. Instagram, Talent the Comedian, and King Talent Harris on your Facebook channels.
Great.
You can follow Fig on all social media platforms at Comedian Fig. Sometime I'm on talent page down there. And you know, you might catch me on Stack's page. I move around.
Stack.
Y'all can find me in Cancun because I ain't coming back to the States.
What?
Nah, but it's at Stacking Over. That's where y'all can find me on all social media platforms.
So you in Cancun right now, huh?
Yes, I am. Right here, got the ocean right here behind me. I don't know if y'all can see it. You know, this is my little patio here. I'll be here for the next 6 days though.
Oh, enjoy.
Enjoy
It's
that.
creeping up on you,
Enjoy.
Stack.
I had to watch the football game in Spanish last night.
All right, y'all. You are watching, of course, the show called Box Seats. We're here every Monday through Friday from 1 to 2. We are also on the Humor Mill channel. You can check us out on the Humor Mill. We're on all platforms, iOS, Android. You can download the app. You could even tell a friend. But I need you all to do me a favor and tell a friend to, of course, watch the Humor Mill, download the app. And then, of course, you know, hey, when you tell a friend, maybe tell that friend too to tell another. You know, just keep the word spreading. We like to see that. This week, we got some great, amazing guests you're not going to want to miss. Can't wait to drop that. And we got some surprises along the lines too. Got to thank Rodney Perry. Got to thank Fig. Got to thank Talent. Got to thank Stack. I'm Frank. I'll see you all tomorrow, 1 o'clock. You're watching the Humor Mill channel on Box Seats.